It's been a week, Chris. But anyways, tell me about this whole thing with we were just talking about Twitch.
What about Twitch?
So, even on YouTube, technically, should I not be able to talk about or play music videos or play music if I'm talking about the actual music? Like if it's some sort of review or something like that?
Technically, yes. Practically, there are very specific ways that you can do that.
Okay.
And funnily enough, I was actually going to send you a YouTube video earlier of this channel that I watched that does exactly that. It reviews pop music, current pop music.
Yeah.
And he does it on YouTube, but he doesn't get banned because he knows the rules and he sticks to them, even though he does use parts of the music.
Okay.
So that there are ways to do it in the video. In live streams, however, no, you're fucked. You just can't do it. YouTube's got very, very aggressive algorithms policing live streams.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of gay, but I mean, I was thinking maybe I'll just like take a shot in the dark and try and not play more than 10 to 15 seconds of a song or
No, you absolutely can do that.
Oh, okay.
In a video, you can do that.
Oh, so not in a podcast format. There has to be
on a live stream. You might not get away with it because, as like I say, the algorithm is very, very aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
From what I've observed.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to try and see. Where can I find the rules that are not the YouTube language rules? Like, is there somebody who's broke it down? I must be able to just Google that and look for it.
No, YouTube does have very explicit rules.
No, I know, but like, don't they have it in that weird kind of jargon? You know, that legal speak.
I mean, what do you mean? I mean, do you mean English?
Here forth and forward and here forth and forward. You know,
if you could read, if you could read English, then you're all right. You'd be able to do it.
I'm just wondering why so many people have a problem with the rules. Like, maybe I should just blame the individuals, right? Instead of thinking it's YouTube all the time.
Yeah, I mean, often, yeah. Like, I don't know how many YouTube channels you watch, like on the regular, but I guess it depends kind of what kind of channels you watch, but I am absolutely sick and tired of hearing from YouTube creators who I otherwise absolutely love that, oh no, people are randomly unsubscribed from my channel. No, they're not. They never are.
Yeah.
That's not something YouTube does. People are unsubscribed from your channel. That's true. Yeah, and you'll notice that what fucking drives me insane about this is that the people who complain about this happening have got channels that are always growing.
Yeah.
It's like, so how can people be unsubscribed and your channel's getting more subscribers? It's bullshit. They're not. It is true that YouTube periodically purges inactive accounts from subscriber lists. That is true.
That makes sense, though, doesn't it?
That does make sense. And it also makes sense that the bigger your channel gets, the more of those people, numerically, will get purged.
Yeah. Right.
And also, there's something else at work there, which is that people are fucking idiots and accidentally click the subscribe button
and then unsubscribe.
Thinking, and then in doing so, unsubscribe from your channel, and then say, "Oh well, I got unsubscribed, and I don't know how that happened." Yeah, I'm sure you don't know how that happened, but it was all you.
It's way more fun to be the victim, though, isn't it?
So, yeah, it's just not a thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of channels that I otherwise like say that it's happening, and it's not. There's one of them where like every fucking video he opens up with, people come to me every day and say they've been unsubscribed, and I just look at it and think, No, they don't.
Like who?
I bet you they don't. I bet you they don't come up to you every day for a start, and I bet you they're not, because
people
it's
need
just,
to make up shit to be interesting, because like
the thing is, YouTube's even addressed this and said there's no mechanism by which that would happen. We do not do that.
yeah, why would they do that? That would
Why? Yeah,
annoy
why
people.
would they?
That would annoy people
well-
and drive them away from YouTube.
It's I don't know. I don't know where it comes from.
I don't either. But again, like I was saying, I think people need to make themselves seem interesting, because I just don't think people are as interesting as they project themselves to be. You know, like I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they were saying whether you're like Donald Trump or whether you're some homeless guy on the street, like everybody's just trying to escape being average, and everybody does average things in their day. And I think that when you become like somebody whose face is always out there, you have to seem like you are interesting 100% of the time, all the time. There's always shit happening to you. It's like everybody's kind of their own hype beast, you know? They have to make it seem like something is happening. And like, you're already going to get sympathy from people who like you. So if you need that sort of thing, what a great way to do that. Like there was something that I think I was listening to Sam Harris talking to somebody, and he was saying, or his guest was saying, like, people, oh no, it was Tim Dillon actually saying that people will tell stories about themselves as like a character in a movie. Like they'll use a character in a movie's story and use it as their own story to make themselves seem interesting when they're meeting people, and lie all the time to do that. That's just the kind of environment you live in when you're in this like weird social media landscape where, you know, all we care about is, or all we're posting are our highlights and all this stuff like that. It's not that surprising that someone's like, oh my God, I'm getting shadow banned. That was the big thing. I'm shadow banned. YouTube has shadow banned me. Twitter has shadow banned me. Gavin McInnes is like, yeah, I'm shadow banned on Twitter. I'm shadow banned here. And I'm like, what is this terminology, shadow ban? And where, like, how do we substantiate this? Because if I search you, because as soon as someone's like, I've been shadow banned, I search them and I'm like, I can see your shit. So what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that. Every single time somebody says they've been shadow banned, I seem to be able to find them just fine.
Yeah. So,
like, is there some sort of exclusion for me?
Yeah, like, why is it that the people you like can't find you? Why is it only being curious people who go and look who are like, I can't find it?
Yeah, but the thing is, I know where it comes. Like YouTube's a good example. YouTube kind of does shadow ban.
Okay.
But it shadow bans anybody that's banned. So if you ban someone from your channel, they can still post on your video and in your chat, and they can see what they've posted. But you can, and nobody else can. So they're kind of shadow banned.
Okay. But this idea that like my account is unsearchable is like,
I've never observed such a thing, but
so
maybe.
Where do we want to start today, Chris? Do we want to start with the debate? Do we want to start with Trump getting cooed by the Ronies? Do we want to talk about Joe Rogan? What do we want to talk about? There's so much stuff.
In a way, I don't want to talk about any of it.
I know, but we're gonna.
But yeah. I mean, let's start with the debate. Can we start by not calling it a debate, because it fucking wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't at all. Not that I was expecting much from it. I think it met my expectations. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting anything particularly serious. I was expecting a lot of over talking, and I was expecting a lot of I was expecting more name calling and more petty shit from Trump. His real petty shit came in when he started going at Biden about Biden's son. Why is your son getting money from Russia and all these other places and all this kind of stuff? And that was interesting.
See, to me, what stands out to me in my mind isn't really the content of anything anyone was saying, to be honest. Could really care less. It was the way that Trump especially, but Biden as well, to be fair, but Trump especially.
Yeah.
Just the way they conducted themselves.
Yeah, they're like kids.
And in fairness to Biden, I think he tried, but I think he got frustrated.
Oh,
probably
he was so frustrated, and you could tell.
Probably less than halfway through. And one thing that I will say is Biden surprised me. I thought, even though Biden would be my choice for this stupid election, even though it would have been anyway,
yeah,
I thought Biden would come across as more, what's the word, senile.
Yeah,
and he didn't.
He didn't. No, but that's because that's what you hear in the media all the time from anybody who doesn't like him.
Exactly.
Right.
And I was just about to say that. And it's interesting that even though I would be, I guess, a supporter of Biden, I still held the impression that Biden, sort of people who knock Biden, try to give out, because that's just what my brain has absorbed.
Yeah,
and it's just weird. No, he was a lot more. I don't know. He was just a lot more like a dude, to be honest.
Yeah. And remember how you told me that he had a stutter?
Donald Trump was the caricature in that.
Yeah. But isn't he
exchange.
often? He often is the caricature.
Not always. He just did. I don't know if he does it on purpose or if that's just the way he is, or
I think.
No idea.
I think it's the way he is, and because it's the way he is, it just comes out as that way. Like, he is just like that. He's got Kardashian energy. You know what I mean? Like, he knows how to get attention. He knows how to
absolutely
be bombastic and just be a dickhead. Like, and people like that shit. You know what is unfortunate about America is clearly a lot of people like that reality TV, bombastic energy. Why do you think the Jersey Shore was so fucking popular? The Apprentice was so popular. And that's how he treats the fucking presidency. You're fired. You're fired.
I have a problem with people liking that for entertainment.
Oh, I agree.
Where I start to get a little bit confused and concerned, I think would be a better way of putting it, is when people actually want that in their politics as well.
Yeah, that's scary.
Really?
But here's the thing, like, I guess I just want to say humans in general. I feel like we want more of those like savage animalistic things to be in the forefront, and when they are, it permits us to behave in that same way. Now, I don't like to behave like that. I like to behave like a civilized human being. There's a reason civilization has worked for so long, but I think a lot of people are really into that kind of animalistic, savage behavior because, again, it permits them to behave like total assholes too. It requires effort to not be that.
So, someone in the chat just said something that Mr. President says some daft things, but he loves his country. And I'm sorry, I do not agree with that. I agree with the he says some daft things bit, but loves his country.
Yeah, what does that mean? What does that mean, loves his country?
I feel like he has absolute contempt and maybe disregard for his country.
Disregard more than contempt.
Yeah, possibly. It comes to the same thing in the end, though. He sees the country as a vehicle for putting forward his own
agenda, his own bullshit,
his own everything, really, his own advancement. I don't get the impression he loves his country.
No,
I mean maybe. I'm not saying he doesn't, but that's not the impression that I get personally.
Yeah, I mean, never would the idea of like, oh, he loves his country come into my mind. That's just not how I ever absorb Trump. I just see Trump as like this. He's kind of like Lord Farquaad. You remember Lord Farquaad from Shrek? Lord Farquaad. He's a very small dude with the short black hair. He has little man syndrome.
I've only seen that film once. I remember the green guy.
But you get the general idea of like.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, you have to bolster yourself, and it's all just bombast. It's bombast and pageantry and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to see, but it's also interesting to see how people justify his actions in that way. Oh, he loves his country. He may say daft things, but here's the thing: if he loved his country, wouldn't he care to be a little bit more careful about how he conducts himself as the president of the United States? Like, that's the thing.
You would think.
Right. So it's just, like from from how he's handled the pandemic issue, that to me, the way that he was talking to the public and giving them false information and saying, oh, we got 15 people and they're all going to be fine by whatever. And it's just, it's lies. You're lying to everybody, right? And then I just don't, like, where's their love in that for your country? If you love your country,
No.
you're going to tell them the truth and say, look, we have a crisis.
Sorry, if he could say he loves his country, maybe he doesn't love the country, but he doesn't love the people in the country.
No.
So, and to me, that's sort of significant.
Yeah.
A politician, a leader, is there to, or should be there to serve the interests of the people that elect them, not serve their own interests in the name of the people that elected them.
Yeah, to like facilitate the values the country was built on. You know what I mean? That's your job. You're supposed to uphold the values of the country, but you're not doing that. Look at the way you behave. But people just get so intoxicated by his presentation, by the pageantry of him, by the way that he does not care, which in my opinion has kind of, it's exposed a lot of the flaws in the political system in America. But also it's a dire situation for America to be in this situation where like neither candidate is good. You're forced to pick one because one is way worse. Yeah. I would like to clarify that I don't think Joe Biden's a good candidate. No. Not at all. But I do think, I've said this to you before. What pushed me over the edge on Trump was the COVID response. Mm-hmm. If it hadn't have been for that, I would probably have been pro-Trump in this election, mm-hmm. and not pro-Biden. Yeah.
But as the COVID response being what it was, I am kind of over, and maybe this is childish, maybe this is over the top, but I just don't care now. Even if Biden's a complete motherfucking disaster, which he very well might be, I'd rather have that complete motherfucking. I'd rather take my chances with that complete motherfucking disaster than the one that we know that we've got now.
Yeah, and which will continue to be a complete motherfucking disaster.
With all of that said, I am aware that disaster is not mine and it's not yours.
Right.
We've, we're not part of that country. We can only make these observations from afar.
We can.
So,
but the thing is, like, being next door and having a lot of deals and stuff with the states, it gets a little bit iffy. I mean, I don't really care if you want to put tariffs on fucking iron or whatever it was, aluminum or whatever. You know what I mean? It doesn't affect me directly, but when the protests start and all the stupid shit starts because of, I guess that has nothing to do with Trump, so I'm just stupid. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
And again, what Gavin in the chat said, I don't care what Biden sides with about the Irish fucking border. I don't really care about the Irish fucking border. That seems to be a Brexit related thing that I just whatever.
Oh my god, do you remember?
Just get us out of the EU. I don't give a fuck about Northern Ireland. I'm sorry. I know that that's childish and dismissive and blah, blah, blah.
Why?
But I just don't care.
You can't care about everything. You can't care about everything. There has to be some shit you just have to dismiss. It's a bandwidth issue. There's some things that as you grow older, if they don't fucking affect you directly, what fucking ever. You can't think about everything. So that's why it's very strange to me that people seem to think that they have a very coherent idea of what's happening right now. And I think it's utter chaos. Like, I just don't see any coherence between a lot of the events that are just happening around the thing, except we know that something has been happening over a period of time and we're still dealing with it. They integrate weird, you know what I mean? And there's information here, there's information there. One day it's this, one day it's that. And then the media does this whole fucking thing. Like, that's why I don't like to ingest the news so much, because if I was watching that Joe Biden and Donald Trump debate, the first thing I would think the minute he stuttered was, look at Biden. What a retard. He's so senile. He can't even fucking talk, because that is the exact same thing that people say about Biden. He's senile. He can't talk. Didn't you tell me he had a stutter? He's had a stutter since he was a young boy, right?
Yes, that's true.
Paul. Who wants the trouble to come back? I don't understand.
He's talking about Biden. He's saying that Biden wants the troubles between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, you know, the IRA and stuff like that happened in the 80s and sort of early 90s.
Well, what would that do?
Well, there is a lot, or there was, and maybe still is, a lot of involvement from the political US in that situation as it was. Mm-hmm. But it's very much what Gavin just said there. It's very much a sort of conspiracy theory in that Biden's never expressly said, "Oh no, I want the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland to be at war." It's just yeah, well, maybe, perhaps, but again, though, it doesn't. Even if Biden does explicitly want Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, the UK to be at war with each other, which I don't think is true, but still, even if it is true, I'd still rather Biden than Trump.
I mean, the worst
and
thing...
I am here in the UK, I'd still rather take my risk with that. I think Trump, at this stage, has demonstrated how dangerous he is. But that, again, that's just my opinion. I know lots of people disagree with me, and I get it. You can disagree. It's just my opinion, and it's a completely worthless opinion because I have no say whatsoever in it.
Yeah, exactly. We're just sitting here talking shit. So a lot of the people that I've been hearing talking about the whole election thing is like, Biden is just coming in for now. He was the most viable candidate for the Liberals, but he's going to get ill, and then Kamala will take his place. So really, it's Kamala 2020. Which I thought was kind of an interesting take.
Yeah, and that, yeah.
Biden.
And still, I really don't. I don't think that would be a good thing. But no. I'm so sick of Donald Trump.
Yeah,
I'm so sick of his shit. I'm so sick of the way that he acts.
So my relationship with Trump is I love him. I think he's entertaining, but I don't like him as a president. He's hilarious, not as a president. I
completely agree with that assessment.
Like,
I think he is so funny to watch.
Yeah,
he's so fun. Like in situations where it doesn't matter, it's so fucking entertaining to watch people who are sort of like in the stuck-up political sphere not have a fucking clue how to deal with this guy.
No, he's great
because he makes me laugh. He does, but he's not the sort of person you really, really objectively want leading the most powerful country in the world. Really? I mean, it's funny. We've had 4 years of fun, but I mean, come on.
We've had 4 years of fun. Now what? Now it's just 4 years of everybody's fucking scared because nobody knows what's happening. Did you remember that comment he made about about Biden? He goes, "We're having all these rallies and Joe Biden wears his mask and he wears his mask everywhere. He's wearing the biggest the biggest mask. You see him wearing a mask and it's the biggest mask you've ever seen." And I was like,
honestly, he talks like a 7-year-old. It's weird.
He repeats himself again and again, and like he fucking hypnotizes people, man. Like I listen to him and I'm like, this is very clunky. It's suspicious to me right away because I'm just like, yeah, you're saying like he's saying positive words more than once, right?
But this is the thing with Trump. Is it clunky or is it clever? Is he doing it on purpose?
No, it's clever.
I originally, I will say I thought he was just stupid, but no, I don't think he's stupid.
No, he's not.
I think he's actually pretty smart. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. I think he knows how to communicate with it's clear that he knows how to communicate with a large swath of people who he knows are going to attach themselves or associate themselves to certain buzzwords and certain events. And again, like there does seem to be a very WWE-like culture around politics right now where it's sloganry. let me say the right slogan. Remember Make America Great Again? Like how you heard that everywhere. It was on the hats. It's mega this, mega that, mega this, mega that.
Again, I didn't like that. I still don't like it personally. But you cannot deny how fucking smart it was.
Oh yeah, of course. He's a great public relations manager.
Slogan with a good, easy to pronounce acronym on a red hat with white writing.
You got it.
So simple.
Yep.
So simple. So fucking smart.
Yeah,
so clever. It's smart on the grounds that I want to win this election.
Yes.
And it worked.
Yeah, it did.
Whether I like it or not, and like I said, I don't like it, but it worked.
Yeah, it's not.
So it's not. I wouldn't even go so far as to say that I have respect for the guy. Respect would be the wrong word, but it's the right kind of idea.
I have respect for the strategy. That's what I have respect for.
He got where he is through trying to get where he is.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Yeah.
And he had a played for and got, well done. But although for him that is a very impressive accomplishment, unfortunately for the rest for the country, and to be honest, the rest of the world as well, it kind of isn't really that good.
No,
I don't think. Not broadly.
Neither of those people were good examples. Like in my mind, like the president should exemplify the type of person that everybody should strive to be, right? Like that's why everybody talks about Obama so highly, because he was very proper. He was a good orator. He was always well behaved. He was very polite. He was a true statesman. We went from Obama to Trump, right? Like it's a stark opposite.
Yeah, a bit of a culture shock, wasn't it? Yeah.
Extreme shock. But you know what? At the same time, it makes me think like America clearly felt like that's what they needed. They felt like they needed some sort of shock out of the establishment. But now, like, look how much chaos has come out of that. It's not like chaos was gradually entered into the system here. It's like, bam, now it's fucking chaos.
If it, like I say, if it hadn't have been for the whole pandemic situation, I think I could begrudgingly but comfortably have backed Trump for this election. A lot, and so many times in the past 4 years when people have leveled criticisms at Trump that have basically boiled down to, I don't like the guy.
Orange man bad.
And it's like, orange man bad, exactly. And it's like, and the amount of times I have defended Trump and his positions, because he, in all honesty, a lot of the way, maybe not the way in which he conducted himself doing it, but a lot of the things that he actually did were not that bad.
No.
And maybe not him, but his administration, which is him. That's him. Yeah. That's his. And he wasn't that bad. I don't know what I thought would happen when he won the election, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be.
You know what's interesting? And it wasn't. I was listening to Rush Limbaugh this morning, and he made this point, and I think we've kind of said this before, is that if you are the type of person that hates Trump, he consumes your life so much more than you know. It's an illness. There's like a mental illness that has been born of the fact that Trump has become president. Like, how can you hate a person so much that your entire life, your Facebook statuses, your Twitter, your this, your that, everything is Trump, which also serves him as advertisement because it makes the people who are for him even more for him. So there's just these bad integrated feedback loops that are working together to just make this guy he is in the forefront of everybody's conscious mind. The news is every single ticker message has to be about Trump while they're talking about Trump, while they're Trump.
Is this for me anyways? He's a very internally divisive person because I do think that he's a bad leader. I do think that he's bad for America. I do think that he's bad for the world.
Yeah.
But would I like to meet him?
Yeah.
Would I like to have a drink with him?
Yeah.
Would I like to have a chat with him?
Yeah.
You damn fucking right I would.
Yeah, it'd
Holy
be so fun.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Oh,
And
yeah. It's conflicting.
I-
It's
I-
conflicting.
I don't hate Trump particularly, not the person.
No, I don't know.
I don't.
We don't know.
It's just, I don't know. It's but ultimately, when I listen to my I listen to my head, not my heart. I have to say no. I have to say no to Trump. I do not support him winning this election. I still think he probably will.
You think so?
Not probably will. Very possibly will. Unless he obviously unless he dies of COVID-19. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
So I was so for Trump just because, I'm coming from the position of I don't care. But like after the COVID thing, it's very fucking difficult to be like, no, it should definitely be him again. It should definitely be him again. Because I'm so sorry. If Boris was the flagship of how to react to a pandemic and address the public, Trump was the opposite of that. And I don't know, the handling of that entire situation by him was just so atrocious that it would be very difficult, not that it's a moral issue for me, but to think about it in that way, morally select him to deal with the chaos that is to come. You know what I mean?
That was an interesting comparison you just made. I don't know if I would maybe I don't know if I'd consider Boris Johnson the exemplar of how to talk to the public about these things.
When this first happened? When it first happened, when he first addressed the public, he did great.
I agree with that. Okay. But certainly as time's gone on, and I'm not sure that I'd necessarily criticize. I don't know. I can't really criticize anybody else. I think that for not for me specifically, because I can listen and understand and think for myself.
Yeah.
But in communicating with the public, I think he is Boris Johnson. That is has caused a certain amount of confusion.
Oh.
I don't think he's been as clear as he could be. I don't think the rules have been as clear as they could be. Either the way that they were presented or the way that they were implemented or the rules themselves. Mm-hmm. So, but with that said, if Trump is our comparison here, yeah, sure, Boris Johnson. Yeah, let's use Boris Johnson as our example.
Trump is the comparison, so that also does bolster Boris up a bit more. But I just remember seeing his speech and thinking like,
I disagree with that Gavin said in the chat. But Boris and Trump are two peas in a pod.
Not really.
I completely disagree. Disagree. They've got similar hairstyles, I guess. That comparison's been made. But apart from that, no, I disagree. But Boris Johnson knows how to conduct himself as the leader of a country.
Yeah.
Trump's just a fucking thug reality TV star who has got himself in a good position through skill, but still not political skill. Yeah. Whereas Boris Johnson's a career politician. He just is.
So this comment here, Democrats literally called him xenophobic when he closed down the border to China, right? I don't think that was correct. I don't agree with that. I think it was a good thing that Trump did to close down China. That was great, and I'm not going to disagree with that. That's the thing with these discussions is that like,
well, it wasn't. It was good, but he also didn't do enough, and it didn't do it for long enough, and he didn't do it in a particularly intelligent way. He did it as a knee-jerk reaction to look like he was doing something.
Yeah.
It was the correct thing to do. It was not the correct time to do it.
It was just not executed properly.
it was too late. And the way that he leveraged doing that was just very cheap.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was the right thing to do, but the way that it was done was not particularly effective. Like at that stage, if I recall, America was already in trouble. It was in the country. Shutting down people coming in from China made no difference. It was a dog whistle.
Okay.
It didn't make any difference. America was already infected. It was already fucked. Nothing would have changed. Like, it really, China themselves probably did more to prevent it spreading more than it did eventually, but China made their own missteps as well. But at that time, China were already fucking welding people into their houses and stuff, so it just wasn't spreading as easily from China.
Welding people into their houses.
They were doing that. They were actually doing that.
Okay, I thought you were joking.
No. Have you not seen the videos?
Chris, like,
no.
I checked out a week after all the COVID news because it started becoming like, you know, when you watch CNN, it's all Trump all day. Like, oh my God, Trump ate a fucking Big Mac. Oh my God, he went golfing. Blah, blah, blah. Like, just stupid shit. Like, it started becoming like that with COVID, where it was all the time. And I had to check out because I don't have, I can't do it.
I don't know what city it was in. It might have been Wuhan. It might have been another city, but somewhere where there was a big outbreak of COVID going on. To stop people going out of their houses and mixing, they went around all the houses and just welded big iron bars across the door so they couldn't get out.
Holy fuck, that's crazy.
It worked.
I guess
yes, it is crazy. It probably wasn't a very good thing to do. I'm not suggesting that our government should have done such a thing, but it worked.
I am actually still utterly shocked that even after Chris Wallace said to Donald Trump that experts have said that a vaccine will not be available for distribution until at least next year, summer or fall, he still proceeded to say, oh, we'll have a vaccine very soon. He's been saying by Christmas. Like, that shit is fucking so irresponsible to me. Like, why would you say that?
It's not true, but by Christmas, the election will be over, so it won't matter. And Trump knows that.
Yeah, that's true too.
The people who are voting in November will take Trump at his word, even in November.
And that's the very unfortunate thing, is at this point, it has become very much like European football alliances. It's all about your team and who wins and who loses, and it's not about any of the actual things that are happening on the ground. Like, you, as a human person, should be fucking pissed off. Say if you had a family member right now who had COVID, or somebody who died of COVID that was close to you, and or you have it, or someone you know has it right now, blah blah blah, might get it at that time, blah blah blah, and your president is telling you that a vaccine will be available and will be distributed by that time. You should be pissed. Like, that should not be okay with you. It's just so fucking weird how things are okay, because it becomes about, like, how likable is the mascot? How likable is this mascot?
It literally is about that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no at this stage, it's undeniable. I mean, it's not undeniable, but you're delusional if you think that Trump isn't just a big fat liar.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? How can you not see it? Like, even
the thing is that like with the vaccine thing, it's like, all right, it is in a way true that by Christmas a vaccine will exist. Probably, not definitely, but it probably will. But the logistics of taking a newly discovered vaccine, mass producing it and distributing it, you're looking at least 6 months.
That's fucking nuts. But even from the beginning, Chris, they were saying 18 months plus. They were saying 18 months plus.
I know. This is the thing. This is what baffles me completely. It's never been like reasonable to assume it was ever coming any time quicker than the middle of next year.
Right.
It's never been reasonable to assume
No.
that, and people have never said that. But Trump's taking one fact, like the vaccine will maybe be developed and have gone through all the like testing.
Yeah.
To well, they'll be ready. What if it? It is ready, but it's not logistically viable to distribute it to a population of 300 million people. Half of which, by the way, are fucking morons who vote for Trump and probably won't take the fucking thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not
I
half,
remember
but
listening to
I
a doctor podcast on Sirius XM, and they were talking about just sequencing the RNA for this fucking thing. And they were like, it's going to take a lot of time. Like, we're discovering things that we don't know. This is novel. Again, like, the thing that people forget about this fucking virus is the novel part. That matters. Novel matters. The fact that it is new and we haven't seen this particular form of this thing before is a big fucking aspect of this thing. Because if we have dealt with it before, well, guess what? I could probably use some sort of vaccine we already had or find some sort of easy solution. But we can't because this is something we haven't dealt with before. I mean, I don't understand. Do you remember trying to buy TP? Do you remember people wearing homemade hazmat suits or trying to buy hand sanitizer? Do you want them to scare people more or less? I mean, what is at cost there, though? What is the fucking trade-off? That's what I want to know. So he should continue to maybe lie so that we can keep the panic down? What?
I don't think America is going to act any more irrationally as a general people, whether they're panicking or not at this stage.
Yeah, like, I mean, everything is it's just, there's just so much blow up in the States. You know what I mean? Like, people are too much fucking theater kid energy in the US. Everybody needs to fucking perform their emotions or their disdain. And it's like, calm your tetas, okay? Like, chill. If we could all just relax. Like, the toilet paper thing that happened.
Just bring it down a notch. Bring it down a notch.
Why are we reacting? Like, we react out of proportion to the actual event. People don't give things enough time to percolate, to see what happens.
It's quite interesting, actually. I told you, didn't I? The toilet paper thing started to happen again here. Because
of the lockdown, right?
There's no lockdown. I don't know why people think this. There's no lockdown in the UK.
Oh, okay.
There isn't. There's restrictions, sure, but nobody's locked down. Nobody's prevented from leaving their house.
So what do they mean? Where that... Yeah, like Sean was telling me that they're thinking of locking down again. That's where I heard it from.
No. Thinking about it isn't doing it.
Right, but thinking about it is what induces that fucking panic in people to go buy all the goddamn toilet paper. And it's probably a lot of people who are compensating.
Ironically, people only started doing that after the lockdown. But again, even when we had the lockdown, you could still leave your house. I was still going out walking my dog every day, and I was allowed to.
Right.
I was still going to the shop to buy stuff, and I was allowed to.
Okay.
That was our lockdown. Like, and I get for different. I am probably a unique case here, but we could still do, like, my life during the lockdown didn't really change very much at all. The main thing that was different was that I didn't go and see my parents for like 6 or 7 weeks.
Oh my God, it was that long?
Maybe a bit longer than that, yeah.
Ah, fuck, that sucks. Yeah, that's the really shitty thing about it, is like being aware.
But we had the internet still, so I could still like talk to them.
Yeah, of course.
I could still see them.
Phones worked.
Phones worked. Skype worked. WhatsApp worked. Zoom worked. Discord worked. Everything worked.
So yeah, hold on.
We're the fucking luckiest pandemic survivors in history.
Yeah, I agree. Carter Cole said, "Are y'all allowed to congregate in groups? Do you know what your group rules are over there? Because you guys' pubs are still open, which is so fucking stupid. Like, I don't understand the logic behind pubs.
We're restricted to 6 people.
Same here. We are too. And over here, if you have an event...
I don't even know 6 people. And even if I fucking did, I don't want to hang around with them.
Right.
So it doesn't affect me.
So
I get it.
Over here, what you have to do is, if you're having any event in your home, like my friend recently, her boyfriend's brother's girlfriend is pregnant, and they were having a baby shower. They have to register her boyfriend's brother's girlfriend.
Gotcha.
So I guess her sister-in-law, if that makes it easier.
Thanks. That is easier.
Okay. So it's just hard when they're not actually married, but whatever. Anyway, so they had a baby shower. You have to go to a government website. You have to register every single person that's there. Everybody's phone number needs to be there in case anybody there contracts the COVID virus, and they can trace it back. They
I
have.
think if I'm right about it, in California, what they do is they burn down half the state if they want like a baby shower.
Yeah, apparently. Hey, man, explosions for gender reveal parties apparently are a 2020 thing.
Yeah,
Clean your
I
floors,
don't.
bitches.
I can't remember what the. See, we have what they're trying to do here is where there's like outbreaks, they're introducing stricter rules. But where I am, for instance, is like as lax as it gets. There's like there's nationwide rules. So I think we're restricted to 6 people. I don't think different households are meant to mingle, but I might be wrong about that. Actually, different households are not, but our bubbles
Yes.
remain intact. So, like, I can still go to my parents and
Yes,
circle
yes.
my sisters. Sisters?
I was gonna say, I was like, you have two?
No, I've only got one. But so, like I said, there's restrictions, but it's not like we're, for fuck's sake, it's not like we're living in Nazi Germany. It's not like we're Jews living in Nazi Germany.
Dude, I mean, this is way better than when the plague was around, when we didn't have the technology or all that kind of stuff, you know? People dying in the streets and shit.
I don't know. People's reactions to these restrictions really confuse me because, yes, they are restrictions. And, yes, it would be better if there were no restrictions. But
short-term pain, long-term gain.
Pandemic. Big picture.
Yeah.
We want the pandemic to last as short a time as possible. So, for as short a time as possible, we will have some restrictions.
Yes.
And then we will ease those restrictions. Now, the argument and the paranoia goes that when it comes to it, that the government won't relinquish control.
Yes.
But maybe that's true, but surely that's a tomorrow problem because the restrictions as they are now will help with the problem that exists now.
Yeah.
So when we get past that problem, if we then have the problem of the government not relinquishing control, then we can fight against them.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's the...
Don't resist arrest, right? Like, just go deal, and then if there's a problem, go to court, right? It's that...
Wouldn't we be in a better position resisting the government when there
actually
isn't a global
exercising.
pandemic?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the restrictions are not there for no reason. It's not punitive. We're not being punished.
People need hobbies. Which
it's like during the Second World War in this country, anyway. Not in your country because you were all cowards and stayed out of it. That's not true. I'm being funny. In this country, they had like rationing, food rationing. Actually, I think America did too. I mean, I think everybody suffered in the Second World War,
yes.
But it was quite harsh in the UK. Do you think people protested against the government? I mean, I'm sure some people fucking did, but it's like we're at fucking war. Our cities are getting bombed. Our supply lines have been cut. You can protest all you fucking like.
Yeah.
We still need to do this. And although this situation isn't that severe, neither are the restrictions being placed on people that severe.
No. The freedom argument...
need to fucking get a grip.
Yeah, the freedom argument is really silly. It's very, very silly. Like, I can't rationalize it in my head. I can't even get on that side of things. I mean, I've started the gym, okay? So the gym is open. A lot of these places where, you know, a lot of people are touching things and stuff are restricted. Like, the rec centers, the public gyms and stuff, they're not open. But some of the private gyms are. And it is a lot of work. Now, I have a friend who was complaining to me yesterday because his wife had a sore throat. And he's like, I might have to stay home now because my wife has a sore throat and they don't want anybody coming in if they're with somebody who has symptoms, right? So he's like, it's so much overkill. And I'm like, but it's not. Like, it's precautionary. You don't want to carry something to people with unknown health issues to your work where you're dealing with the public and you could pass it on. Like, how can you say it's overkill? I'm like, you know, I have to go to the gym, and now every time I go to the gym, everything has to be wiped before and after. Like, everybody has to do their part to make sure that it doesn't get bad if we want to have the ability to do things normally. Like we are very lucky here in BC. We did great and the numbers are spiking, but you know what that means here? Like 3 a day, 4 a day maybe. You know, like it's not crazy. So our restrictions are not as bad as in perhaps some other places, and everybody here that I've seen in the gym has been acting responsibly, wiping everything down. And the thing is, like, if you wipe before and after, you're still good. So everybody has to do their part to kind of curb or flatten the curve and whatever.
It's certainly where I live. And
I don't complain.
I know this isn't the case everywhere, definitely, but where I live, everybody is wearing a mask. Everybody is.
Yeah.
In shops and stuff. No, outside. I don't outside. If you're just walking down the street, you have to wear a mask.
Oh, people here outside also wear masks. It's kind of weird.
You can. It's kind of. If I'm walking to the shop, I do. Like from my house to the shop, I wear a mask just because it's easier than fumbling around outside.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm not wearing a mask because I think I need one outside.
Yeah.
And I don't see a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Carter Cole just said... Sorry, go ahead.
No. What?
Carter Cole just said, I heard in Canada they are putting people in detention centers who refuse to comply with quarantine rules. I have not heard of that.
That's not true.
I gotta look that up right now. Let's see.
I can tell you without looking that up.
I don't feel like
true.
That's true either. Quarantine rules, Canada. Mandatory quarantine or mandatory isolation. Before considering traveling, all travelers arriving in Canada must plan for their mandatory 14-day quarantine period, which starts on the day they arrive. Let's see.
Yeah, that's fine, Cara. People can wear masks outside, and they can even wear them in their own cars. If they want, they don't have to, though. Nobody's saying that they do.
Not have any guests. Monitor your health. Follow all other guidance. You are strongly urged to make housing arrangements for quarantine isolation before you arrive in Canada, blah, 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 blah. I see nothing here on the website. Here, let's put this here about this.
Do you mean, Kat, do you mean they're arresting people who don't quarantine themselves like they're meant to? Because they probably should do that. Just if there's a quarantine rule that you've got to quarantine for 2 weeks coming in the country, then do that. And yeah, if you don't do that, then yeah, they should arrest you for 2 weeks. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it. You know what I mean? Like, people are like... So people are like, oh, the government's so authoritarian, they're telling us what to do. The reason that they have to come in and put their foot down is because clearly most people do not understand their responsibility as civil fucking citizens to do what they have to do to maintain the overall health of everybody. You know, the people have to come in. The government has to come in and they have to say that.
Cara, are you talking about a US guy in Canada? Yeah, he absolutely should have got fucking arrested.
Yeah, if he's from the States, fuck him.
Yeah, if he came into Canada and he refused to quarantine, then fuck him. So, yeah, I don't care about that. Good on Canada, I say.
I mean, the restrictions to come across the border are pretty rough unless you have a permit or some sort of work or something that excuses you from crossing the border, but you're not allowed to cross the border as like, I just want to go to the States today.
Like I watch a few YouTube channels of celebrities who have started their own YouTube channels, weirdly, like actors, and a few of them are actors in US series that are filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah,
and they've actually been allowed to come from the US to Vancouver. Every single one of them had to stay inside for 2 weeks. All of them did. And admittedly, those people were probably helped out quite a lot. They had food brought to them and stuff, but they still fucking did it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you just gotta do... He's a Canadian lawyer. Okay. I mean, I can check that out later. I have no idea of that. I've never heard anything of that.
unfortunately, you're not allowed to watch YouTube videos on YouTube anymore. On YouTube live streams,
Really?
they'll take your stream down. That's what Chris Holowicki keeps getting banned for. Not banned. It keeps getting his streams taken down for watching YouTube videos on YouTube.
But is he talking about them? Isn't that part of fair use? I don't understand.
The algorithm doesn't take fair use into account. You're not allowed to watch YouTube videos on YouTube
Fuck,
anymore.
that's so stupid.
On their live streams.
Okay, but you can make a video.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, maybe we'll watch that later and make a video.
As long as it's transformative, yes.
Transformative? What do you mean by transformative?
That's what fair use is. So you can use somebody else's like copyrighted product, you know, as long as it's transformative. So you're providing commentary or parody or, you know,
right.
You know, some form of reaction to the content. So that's how Saigon of a Cad won that fair use court case with that American woman.
Yeah.
And it was classed as transformative, even though he used her content and didn't actually say anything, but he used it in such a way that was, with the title of his video and stuff, was kind of sarcastic to the way that she actually meant it. And he won in a US court that it was transformative.
Wow. Good for him.
So commentary is allowed.
What else can we get to, Chris? Joe Rogan, Spotify?
No, we've done.
We've done the debates a little bit. We talked
done
about
the debates.
Trump getting Rona. Hey, everybody, do you know?
We didn't though, really, did we? We mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it.
Let's do it. So,
Did you know, Amy?
What?
Did you know Trump's got coronavirus?
Hey! Yeah, I've only been hearing about it since last night.
The news has hardly mentioned it.
Oh, they're fucking... Listen to me. There are people on the left who are just creaming their pants right now that he has fucking COVID. And let me tell you why. Because he fucking bragged during the debates about how many people come to his rallies and how many people this and how many people that, and only 3 people come to see Joe Biden and he wears the biggest mask you've ever seen. And it's just like, yes, perhaps there was a reason that the DNC did not have a crowd. Perhaps there's a reason you should not have had the crowd that you did when you had the RNC. By the way, while saying we're gonna beat this virus and everybody's chanting USA and maybe 3 people with masks in that whole fucking thing.
My headphones have given up.
Oh, okay. Oh, hi! I see you over there.
Sorry, you keep talking. I can't hear you, but you keep talking.
All right, guys, what's going on? He's fixing his mic. I don't know what he's gonna do. Is it alive? Is it dead? Is the battery over? What happened?
I'm back.
Oh, gosh. It is such a fucking crisis when a battery dies or when there's a disconnection.
These headphones occasionally, for some reason, just sort of spaz out and just stop working.
That's so strange. I think that must be like a Bluetooth headphone thing.
They're not Bluetooth.
Oh, they're not?
No.
What are they?
Xbox.
What does that mean?
They're Xbox wireless.
Okay. So then how does it connect to your PC?
With an Xbox wireless dongle.
Oh, okay.
So I've got the adapter here that lets you connect an Xbox One controller and headset to your PC.
Got it. Okay. We got it.
So like I've got connected, yeah.
So
that's how that works.
Friend of mine in the chat, his name is Aaron, he said Corona karma. Isn't that very interesting, right? So it kind of is Corona karma because, you know, you bragged about how many people come to your rallies and this and that, and I wear a mask when I need to wear it. Pulls out the mask out of his fucking suit pocket, puts it right back, and he's touching the mask, by the way. Let's not forget that poor procedure with that PPE. And then he gets
you
Corona.
Said PP.
I said Big beep beep.
Beep, beep, beep. Sure. I don't think the irony is lost on anybody.
No.
Although I do think that it is a little bit gross the way when something like this happens to anybody that people like jump all over it and
Yeah, I hate
act
it.
like really like, and it's like,
Fuck you, Trump.
yes,
you deserve it. You deserve it.
I understand the irony. I even get saying that he deserves it to a point, but I don't wish him dead.
No.
I don't wish him fucking misery.
No.
I don't wish him like a horrific illness, for fuck's sake. Like, we're all adults here. I mean, apart from maybe Trump, but just because, I mean, I would rather see Trump and cringe at him throughout all these debates. I'd rather cringe when he potentially wins the next election. I'd rather all of that. I don't fucking want him and his wife to fucking have a horrific death at the hands of COVID-19. I don't want that.
I don't want anybody to be ill with COVID-19. Even if I don't fucking like you or I'm not a fan, I don't want you to get it. I had it and it sucked. Okay? Like, it's not a fun thing. Never mind Corona. It's just not fun to have the flu. I would not want anybody to suffer like that. Life is enough suffering. Why would you want to fucking hope for suffering for anyone at any time? I don't get it. Like, no, stop. But people are petty, and that's just what we're dealing with. And because everything is just so politicized and polarized in the States, and again, like, so much value is put on the mascot, that is a thing that we're just gonna see, you know? They said, I can't remember, Rush Limbaugh was saying this morning, I can't believe I listen to Rush Limbaugh, by the way, but he is really fantastic on a mic. He was saying, I can't remember where he got this from, and I have to remember it is infotainment, so a lot of it's probably just gonna be shit he throws out or whatever, that someone said that he has a 99% chance survival rate, and I'm like, but where, like, I tried to Google it, I couldn't find that. Well, who's saying that? Who's saying he has a high chance of survival? Who?
Well, he does have a high chance of survival.
Yeah, because he has like all the fucking doctors and all that kind of stuff.
No, not because of that. Even if he didn't, like, the thing is, if you're old, if you're obese, that means you've got a greater chance of a bad outcome. But that still doesn't mean that the most likely outcome is a bad one.
Yeah, true.
So, you got to put it in perspective in that regard.
Yeah.
And I think what Becky in your chat there said is that's kind of true. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as say it's funny that he's got it. I don't think it is. I don't find anybody getting ill in that way funny, but I understand the irony.
I thought it was. It made me laugh yesterday, but not because like Trump got corona, but I'm like 2020 right now. Just keeps getting 2020er, you know?
Yeah, there's that. And, the stuff that Trump's done and said about these things, it's like, yeah, he was almost seemed like he was asking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And as with the Brazilian president was the same. He was like very blasé about it, and then all of a sudden he comes down with it as well.
No, Rush has stage 4 cancer. He'll probably be dead by Christmas. But he's still fucking going hard. Still going hard, that guy.
I know the name, but I can't honestly say
Rush Limbaugh is like a right-wing reactionary talk show host. And it's infotainment. He's like who can I compare him to? Guys? Who cares? Either way, he's very he's kind of like Alex Jones-ish, but not as wild, I guess you can say. But again, infotainment. Emphasis on the tainment. Right? It's like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is infotainment. Sure, he may talk to some smart people, but you can't, it's not a peer-reviewed podcast. And he's going to have some information on some of his podcasts with some people that he does that is going to be like academic level or whatever it is, and that's fine. But you have to be able to separate that in your mind of like, oh, this is the kind of person you're going to get like really solid, detailed information about versus this is someone that he's just shooting the shit with. So, infotainment. Yeah, there you go, Carter.
That's actually a very good word. I like that word.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. This everything in 2020 has been like how old am I now? 40. I was 43 in August, and 2020 has without a doubt been the biggest dumpster fire of a year of my life ever.
It's amazing.
Like, it is actually amazing how fucking wild it's been compared to anything else. I mean, wow. Just wow.
Yeah, so I mean, from the beginning of the year...
I've not been to work since March.
Yeah, that's wild. Hi, Banksy! We see you!
Hi, Banksy.
So, from the beginning of this year, what like the thing that broke the bottleneck of tension and chaos building was Corona. Because that shit has been building up for a long time. It didn't just come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It started in 2016. Very starkly.
I agree. So the Corona thing made tension, certainly in the US anyway, bubble over. I don't think there were tensions anywhere else, to be honest.
No. But why? Not in
the same way.
Why do we feel that? Like, there's just something that is very alluring about America that you want to pay attention. You know what I mean? Like, it is like in some way sort of.
It's big. I think that's the thing. America. It's just big, isn't it? It has a reasonable sort of influence on the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's true.
More so countries like ours, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, and it helps from our point of view that it's an English-speaking country as well, so it's easy for us to actually follow what's going on, more so than it is in, say, Brazil, where there's all sorts of interesting shit going on in Brazil, but they speak Portuguese. Who the fuck speaks Portuguese? Apart from the Portuguese.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Chris.
I'm like 350 million Brazilians, but whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm not really sure, man.
Why can't they speak Spanish like the rest of South America?
You know what I would absolutely love? I wish Joe Rogan would just have Trump on the podcast, because Trump already said that he would go on Joe Rogan to do the debate. Joe should be like, why don't you fucking come talk? Why don't you come talk to me? Because he loves the publicity. Trump.
I don't think Joe Rogan particularly wants to talk to Donald Trump. I think he's even said as much.
Really? I don't remember him saying.
I think he has. I don't know. I might be imagining that. I don't think he's particularly interested in doing that. I would imagine if you're in Joe Rogan's position, it would be difficult to have a conversation with somebody in that much of a potential position of power, unless Joe Rogan was actually a supporter of Trump, without the fact that Rogan's probably quite maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm misreading Rogan, but I would imagine that internally Joe Rogan's not particularly on board with a lot of Donald Trump's positions. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that would be quite an uncomfortable conversation to have. Whereas if he was like moderating a debate between Biden and Trump, that would be a different thing. That isn't a conversation. I mean, I might be wrong. I might be completely misreading Rogan there.
I haven't seen enough episodes in any to hear when he said that, so he might have said it in one I haven't listened to, but it seems like he's down to talk to anybody, so
I think he probably would, to be honest. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? It probably depends how he's feeling at the time. I think in his latest one, Joe Rogan was talking about, when he does these podcasts, it's not like it's a peer-reviewed thing and everything is correct and blah blah blah. Yes. It's like he's just there. He's just talking shit. Some of the shit he says is going to be wrong. Some of the shit he says is going to be right. Some of the shit he says is going to reflect what he actually thinks, and some of the shit he says is not.
Yeah. So
it's just a conversation.
Tim Dillon said this, and I totally agree with him. It's like, why is it that when you're just in the middle of a conversation and you're in the moment, everybody seems to have to hold your feet to the fire for every fucking word that you have said in the moment? Because when you're talking shit and you're just kind of free flow talking, there's way more potential for mistakes or saying something silly or not particularly thinking something out. And like other people act like their ideas are so solid and everything they have to say is so correct that they can just go at other people while they're having just a simple conversation with their friends. Like, you are being let into a conversation that two friends are having, in which there isn't necessarily Googling happening or any of that fact-checking shit happening. They're just talking. Like, back in the day, this is what people did. We didn't Google things. We just sat around and talked shit and kind of intuited what could be happening. Like, it's what is that goddamn quote? It's a mark of an intelligent man to be able to entertain ideas without espousing them. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the Rogan experience embodies to me. They're just they're discussing and entertaining conspiracies and ideas and all this other stupid shit. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're espoused to those beliefs or ideas. They're just discussing them. But for some reason, it just comes out of their mouth and someone has a bad taste about it. And now they're ascribing this view or belief system to this person, which causes further conflict or more issues, or people just like erect problems in their way because they like find a hobby. Go deal with your life problems. Why are you erecting problems in front of yourself that A, you can't solve and have nothing to do with, and B, have nothing to do with you? Why the need to do that? I don't understand. It's weird.
I thought it was that's something else we would talk about. I thought it was interesting what Rogan said about what interaction he's had with Spotify over these meetings,
right.
These much reported meetings that the Spotify staff have been having about the Joe Rogan podcast. Mm-hmm. And Joe Rogan said, absolutely zero, nothing. Spotify said nothing to him.
Nope.
Now, that doesn't surprise me, to be honest, because but what I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't
address the missing episodes.
He still didn't address that, and I'm still kind of interested about that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm interested in that, but until anything is said about it, I'm perfectly okay with I don't know and not asserting my own idea, right?
Sure, it just I want my curiosity sating more than anything else.
I know what you mean.
But ultimately, those episodes are available on YouTube if you really, 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 really need to watch them.
Yeah, like, what's the big deal if it's not on Spotify, guys? Like, go to YouTube. The thing is, like, if here's what I said yesterday, and it's Joe Rogan's experience. It's his fucking show. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it. You as an adult have a choice that if he's doing something now that you don't like, go find another fucking podcast, dude. Because if somebody was offering me $100 million and they were like, look, we'd like to tweak it this way and this way, it would be my decision to say, okay, I will tweak it this or this way because I want that money.
Yeah, I agree. But Joe Rogan did specifically say that hadn't happened.
Yes, exactly. Right. I agree.
So, but, and incidentally, Gavin says in the chat, staff can't do anything as a contract. That isn't true. Talk to Dr. Disrespect from Twitch. I don't know if you heard about that. Twitch's biggest streamer had a contract with Twitch to exclusively stream on Twitch, and like 2 months into the contract, they just gave him the heave ho, said you're banned, and never told him why. Well, they may well. I don't know. I don't know if he never said why, and they never made a statement as to why. So
the thing that I really appreciate,
but clearly, whether you've got a contract or not with these sort of mega corporations doesn't really matter that much. They can still chuck you off, if they feel that they have any grounds to. Then they can. I know. I believe Dr. Disrespect walked taking all of Twitch's money, and I'm pretty sure if Rogan got booted off Spotify, he'd get to walk away with $100 million as well. Yeah, so exactly. There's good reasons for Spotify to not want to do that.
Yeah. So the thing that I was saying is I do appreciate right now that the CEO of Spotify has been dealing with the staff members who are causing quite a tumult about this. But the thing is you said this last week to me, and it is quite striking. Like, when you have staff members who are working at at odds with what the company is meant to do, grow, expand, make more money, profit, why would you continue to keep those people as employees?
Confuses me. To me, like a company is like an organism that's designed to make money. That is what it's for. A company makes money for itself.
Yes.
That is, it's a circular thing. The employees of that company are there for no other reason ultimately than to make that company money, or to. But what employees like the ones that Spotify seem to be doing is they seem to be looking at ways to remove an asset of Spotify,
right?
To remove Spotify's ability to make money. How is that? I mean, if I was the CEO of that company, I wouldn't be as nice as the CEO of Spotify. I'd freaking say, all right, then you don't work here anymore. You don't need to. You're not compatible with our goals.
Right. And that's just one part of the thing. So it was explicitly stated in a few articles that the staff members who came forward and even said anything about the meetings were advised not to say anything about the meetings. That's another grounds to fucking fire people who are causing a problem, is like, these meetings are not meant to be exposed because we're having discussions, continuous discussions about whatever particular topic. So until those discussions are complete, do not go to the media and talk about it. And then of course some fucking asshole employees go and do that, and then the words get twisted.
What gives credence to that as well is the fact that Spotify never approached Joe Rogan about it.
No, not at all.
Like, he wasn't meant to know those meetings ever took place.
Nope, no one was. More grounds. I mean,
sure, but I think ultimately that rule was probably there so that the talent doesn't get spooked. Ultimately, that will be why that rule was in place, because Spotify wants to keep Joe Rogan as an asset. They want to keep Joe Rogan on side.
Yeah.
And I think reading between the lines, I think Joe Rogan's had very high up meetings, like probably one-on-one meetings with like the CEO. Well, definitely with the CEO of Spotify. And he's basically said, this is how I want to operate.
Yep.
Will you let me operate like this? Because, I mean, in that Tim Dillon podcast, Joe Rogan was very irreverent about Spotify on a number of occasions.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't seem like he gave a fuck.
No.
He didn't seem like he was concerned.
No, he didn't.
I might be wrong, but I don't think there's any great conspiracy.
I don't think there is either. And like, I mean, either way, like I don't feel like he has the responsibility to discuss that with me as a fan or as somebody who listens, right? Like, I am not, like, people are like, it's his responsibility to keep the fans up to date on what's happening. But why? Like, you either enjoy the content or you don't. His contractual dealings are his business. I don't know why people think they need to be involved.
That I agree with, but the only slight sort of caveat to that, I would say, is that Joe Rogan, about these missing episodes, Joe Rogan did specifically say his entire catalog will be available on Spotify.
Yes, I agree.
And it isn't.
Yep, and again, like, it's not all right wing though.
While I agree with you, he's under no compulsion to explain why that is not the case at all. Makes no difference to me. I'm still going to listen to the podcast. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
But I am curious, and I would like it to be addressed at some point.
Yeah, I would be less curious if the list wasn't jumbled up. Like, this is the problem with the news and the article writers, is that they're like, ooh, prominent right-wing figures. And I'm like, some of his closest friends that he's done podcasts with, those podcasts are missing too. So it's not just Gavin. And why the fuck would they remove Gavin and not Stefan Molyneux?
Yeah, I didn't realize Stefan Molyneux had actually made it through on Spotify.
So that's one of the biggest tells, is Stefan Molyneux is regarded by many as extremely controversial. Many people are not a big fan of his. He has some ideas about women that may not be particularly palatable.
Well, he got banned off YouTube, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Mm.
Well, there you go, right? But so Spotify will post Stefan Molyneux, but not Gavin, with whom Joe's conversation was actually rather enjoyable and more lighthearted than it was anything serious.
And I think Joe Rogan also made the point. I'm pretty sure it was Joe actually made this point, that the shit on Spotify, like the NWA stuff from the 90s and stuff, is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
You know, some of the lyrics to some of that shit is fucking terrible,
So
and it's
bad.
on Spotify, and nobody gives a fuck.
Yep.
No one gives a fuck.
No.
Yeah, it's like it was Rogan that said it. 'Cause it said
was.
some of those lyrics are way worse than anything that he's ever said on his podcast.
But here's the other thing about that, is that NWA are a bunch of black guys. And right now, it is not very good to say anything against black people. And Spotify came out during Blackout Tuesday, and they joined that whole fucking affront, that social media affront that everybody wanted to participate in. So there's that aspect too. Like, there's just going to be a little bit of favoritism because of that skin color bullshit.
The thing is with that, I and a lot of brands, in a sense, I kind of give a bit of a, like I said before, companies are entities that are designed to make money.
Yes,
ultimately,
exactly.
And if they could do something like participate in a bit of fucking virtue signaling for a day, that will give them, you know, a little bit of extra clout and maybe the ability to make an extra sale or two.
Yeah,
they're gonna do that. I'm not. Even if it's individuals getting in on that pissed me off.
Yeah. That's just gross.
If for no other reason that it basically made Instagram unusable for a day. And let's face it, Instagram's pretty unusable anyway. But
no, it's not. It's great.
Oh, it's shit.
Stop.
But
it's better than Facebook.
Yes, I agree with that. I really agree with that.
Yes. I will not use Facebook. But again, like, you know, it's a fun thing to do to... Again, it's like that performative theater kid energy. It looks good to join in on the trend of the day virtue signaling thing so that you don't look like an asshole. But in my opinion, like, I saw people in my timeline that did that Blackout Tuesday shit, and I seriously considered unfollowing, because I'm like, you're probably sitting at home drinking a beer, eating a pizza, jerking off, and you're sitting here like Black Lives Matter.
I'm going to take this opportunity to call you a pussy, because I did unfollow quite a few people.
Yeah, you're right. I should have.
I deleted them off Facebook. Not all of them, because some of them I actually fucking liked.
Yeah.
But the people who were just on there because they're on there, I just deleted them. Fuck them. I don't.
Yeah, why does Black History Month have 2 months, February and October? What's October?
Didn't even know Black History had a month. What the fuck is Black History?
It's in America. We celebrate it too, because they do in America.
I think there's something about it here too. Fucking fuck off. Black History. Like,
hey yo, where's White History? Where's White History Month? Can't we just call it history?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
Like, who cares? Black, yellow, orange. I'm so fucking tired of this conversation. And until people,
like, why? I don't know.
While it's in the forefront of our minds, it's always gonna be fucking around somewhere. We need to stop talking about the racism. We just need to let go of the past. Whatever is affecting us from the past, still we can deal with. But let's fucking get a grip. I don't think slavery at this point is having as much of a...
The way I see it now, if anybody now is being discriminated against for a reason that, you know, it's nothing to do with anything, like their skin color or their sexuality or whatever, then that should be condemned and called out, and it should be fixed. But this whole looking back 50, 100, 200, a fucking 1,000 years or whatever, and trying to like self-flagellate for things that people in the past did, that people now did not do and do not participate in, is absolutely fucking worthless to the forwarding. That is a word, but it's not the right word.
I know what you mean. The
moving forward of society. It's absolutely. In fact, it's antithetical to that. It makes us go. It makes us either stay in the same place or go backwards.
So it's like
just
it's like
get over it.
If you're free and you're standing there and you're like, oh, look at that ball and chain, and then you hook it onto your leg and you're like, oh no, I have a ball and chain on my leg, I can't move. Well, idiot, why'd you fucking lock yourself in there then? You know, like people, it's almost like people like to be imprisoned. It's so fucking weird.
No, I agree. There's a radio presenter for a local radio station here who does happen to be black, and I know who he is. I don't know him, but I know who he is. I have mutual friends with the guy, and it's like as far as long as I've ever known anybody who knows this guy, he's just a dude. He's just a dude who lives in a place and he's friends with everybody. He drinks with people, and I knew he was yes because he was black, and black people are not very common right in these parts. But all of a sudden, now he works for the local radio. All of a sudden, he starts fucking talking about like identifying with, black people and how they've been repressed in the past. And it's like, oh, fuck off. You have never been repressed. Nothing about your life that I am aware of has ever led to you being repressed. Just you work at a radio station as a fucking DJ and you earn like probably fucking 5 times what I do. Shut the fuck up.
Yep. I don't understand BLM in the UK. I mean, I don't understand BLM in the UK, Germany, Canada, like all the places that BLM has come out.
I don't understand it in the US.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Really. I mean, I understand it, but I think it's fucking stupid.
Yep.
As an organisation, as it's been written there, I think it's stupid. Like, of course, Black lives. If you want to single them out like that, of course, those lives matter. In the same way that Indian lives matter. In the same way that fucking French lives matter. I don't give a fuck. Obviously, your life goddamn matters if you're a good person. If you're a shit person, I don't give a fuck where you're from. Your life doesn't matter, no.
You can't even say all lives matter. Remember how much fucking shit that stirred up when people started saying actually all lives matter, and then like people in BLM were like, "Are you saying black lives don't matter? Are you saying black?"
And if I was trying to shorthand what I just said, then that would be the way that you do it. But I was deliberately not doing that because that particular phrase, "that all lives matter," it just should be an obvious default position.
That's what I'm saying.
It shouldn't be controversial.
No.
It isn't controversial.
Well, you're discounting the fucking misery that the black race has gone through. Blah, 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 blah.
Dude, like white people were slaves too. Everybody's
slaves.
Right,
okay. No. You've never been to Ireland, but you've been to Ireland. You've never been.
No.
They're as white as I am. They're the same as me. They were our slaves at one point.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
The Irish were like a second class, but they're the same colour, they're the same genetic stock that we are, but they were inferior to us. Like I know they weren't, but that was the way they were considered at the time. So back in those days, that had nothing to do with fucking skin colour, obviously. What did that have to do with?
I think it's a class issue more than it is a skin color issue, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It probably is.
I think it's classism, but it doesn't work in the favor of the elite for people to think of it that way.
There's a YouTube channel I watch, and it's a guy who he got famous on YouTube rebuilding electric cars. And he's black. He is black. And he just finished rebuilding this car. It wasn't an electric car. It was like an Audi RS7, like a really fucking nice car. And he took it out, to sort of give it a shakedown, but he didn't have any insurance or registration on the car. And he got pulled over by the police on camera. He actually filmed it all, the entire interaction. And yeah, the cop was a complete dick with him. And you know what he did? He was really, really nice and polite to the cop, even though the cop was being a dick.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
And he was all right. Don't get me wrong, he got screwed fine-wise and stuff, but he went home immediately after the event. You know, he wasn't treated any differently to anybody else.
No.
And well, maybe he was. Maybe the cop was a dick to him because he was black. Even so, he was still very polite to him.
Yeah. Because you can transcend the limitations that people want you to live within when they want to live within those limitations.
Yeah, see, Gavin knows who I'm talking about, Rich Rebuilds. And it was like an exemplar performance of how, yeah, a cop could be a dick. If you're not a dick back to them, though, you will be all right.
Yeah.
You will be all right.
Yep.
If all you're doing is driving a car dodgily, illegally on the road, you'll be all right. He got his car impounded and stuff.
Yeah.
And he still was polite to the cop.
Well, probably because he knew that he wasn't supposed to do that, right?
Yeah, he knew he was in the wrong. He even said that he knew he was in the wrong to the cop.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, fair enough.
So when you're in the wrong and you are getting a consequence.
Because he did have registration and insurance, but they were at his house, and apparently in America you're meant to have all that stuff in your car.
Yeah.
And he did. And in America, you could drive cars without plates on, but he hadn't put the plate on his car either. I don't know the fucking rules in America, but and he said to the cop, "Go back to my house, we can get it. I've got all this stuff." And the cop said, "No, you're not meant to be driving it. I'm impounding the car." And yes, the cop was being a dick, but the guy was, the guy who was having his car impounded was just polite, and it didn't make any difference. He was black. Is my ultimate point.
Yes,
it just didn't. It didn't. The cop could have been a dick to. He could have just seen a nice car and thought, "Fuck you! You don't have insurance or registration. Yeah, I'm pounding your car." I don't think it mattered that he was black. No. Personally, that wouldn't have been what I took away from it anyway.
Some
I can see how
just
somebody
dicks like that. It's that simple.
And that wasn't what this guy took away from it either. Race never got a mention anywhere. But the only time Rich Rebuilds ever mentions race is as a joke.
Yeah, but again, like, this is the issue with the media. The media always takes these stories and filters them through the lens of race, and then everything becomes about black and white. So much so, like, the media has saturated us with that fucking narrative again and again, that when we discuss certain things, we're discussing them in their terms. Like, this is like the beginning of tyranny, where first you have to take over the language. What you doing?
Typing. What are you doing?
I'm watching you type.
Okay, that's sort of disconcerting. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll let you finish.
Okay.
It's so distracting because I know when I do it, and people are like, "Oh my god, your keyboard's so fucking loud." I'm like, "Sorry." it totally disrupts everything.
My keyboard's unapologetically loud, but I've got nobody to apologize to, so...
Yeah, fuck it.
I like a loud keyboard.
Me too. Clicky, loud. Kind of like me. I'm a generally loud person, so I think I just like loud things.
You're not very clicky, though.
No. Mine are the knockoff thingies. Not the cherry, whatever.
Yeah, mine are the real cherry blues.
There you go. Mine are not. Mine are
yours are the
Chinese knockoff shit.
Yeah, yours are the razor greens, which are knockoffs of cherry blues.
I don't like people that say they don't see color because they are the racists. Okay, so I guess I'm a racist.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I don't really fucking care about your color. Truly, I don't. If you're a dickhead, I don't like you.
If you, I think if you do care about color, then you are racist.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I see it.
But the thing, he's correct in the sense that, like, a lot of people that are lefty who say they don't see color, who talk about everything through the lens of color, are kind of beguiling you with this fucking double speak shit they're doing. because they're the ones who say it constantly. I don't see color. I don't see color. I don't see
I,
color.
yeah. I know what you mean by that, and that is right. But just because a lot of people say a certain thing in bad faith,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that if I say it and I know what it is that I'm saying and I mean what it is that I'm saying, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be saying it. It means they shouldn't be fucking saying it.
Right, exactly.
They shouldn't be stealing my fucking language. My language means something.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I like to use English correctly. I like to speak as clearly as possible. There are so many ambiguities in English as it is. So being a clear communicator is important, and actually going with what words mean and not trying to change them to suit your fucking bullshit is the way you don't do that. If you need to take words and change their definition to suit how you process what the thing is, like racism, for example, then the problem is yours, not mine. You know what I mean? It's like the word discrimination. Everybody discriminates. We discriminate every day between what shirt we want to wear, between what we want to eat. Like, the word has been just taken and heavily laden with all this connotation and made into a bad word when it's not a bad word. You know, racism is an obvious one. It's a bad thing. And it encompasses everybody, all the races, not this oppression hierarchy nonsense and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Americans butcher it quite a bit, Gavin, but what are you going to do, right? Like,
but we're not Americans, though.
Thankfully. It's gotta, yeah. But like
yeah, I mean, she does sound like one, I admit, but sometimes anyway. But she's not one.
And
really, really not.
No.
She says a boot.
Not that often, about.
But still. And she says a.
I do say a.
You too.
I would rather say a than huh. You know how Americans end shit with huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, huh? You like that, huh?
Yeah, like a lot of the Canadians who are sort of huddled along the border, you do have a lot of Americanisms in the way that you speak.
Yeah, I do.
Probably, obviously, but
I grew up there, right? Like, we were there every weekend. All of our shopping, like all the stuff that we did when I was growing up was in America. So it's not really that surprising that I also love the States. It's probably my favorite country until I go somewhere in Europe. I love the United States of America. It's just great.
Yeah, it's especially now. I mean, definitely now. Right now, no fucking chance. But I do not have any wish whatsoever to go to the United States of America. None. Not interested. The place just doesn't
interest you.
I've seen pictures. It looks all right. It's got some nice scenery. I'm sure the people are lovely. It's got some great food. That I do know, but I don't really care about going there. I want to go to Canada. Mm-hmm. I really, really, really do want to go to Canada.
Yeah, you gotta come to Canada.
I want to see like all of it, really. All the sort of important bits.
Chris, you should come so we could go watch the orcas.
Sure. Yeah, you have those. I want to see Toronto because that's meant to be an absolutely awesome city.
Yeah.
I want to see. I'm sure this doesn't interest you. I want to see that middle bit, which I've heard is
the prairies.
I've heard is actually pretty awesome, like Saskatchewan. I've heard that sounds like it's perfect for me, right? And I'll hear me out here, right? There's virtually no people. Mm-hmm. It's one of the bigger provinces, so it's fucking massive, and there's like 4 people living in it, and it's got fucking really fast internet.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Saskatoon does anyway.
I mean, that's a weird reason to want to visit, but
no. I'd move there. I would.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there's no fucking hills and stuff. I'm very bad with hills because of my walking problems. It's like the street you live on, I know would be a fucking nightmare for me.
Well, I mean, like the flat part's fine, but you wouldn't need to go downhill for anything. So
It's flat for you. It's probably not for that fucking road. Is at an angle.
Oh,
the
no,
full
no, no, no.
fucking thing.
So, like, I'm saying where my house is, it's fairly flat. But if you wanted to walk
yeah,
down,
yeah.
it's like the
sure.
beginning of the hill. You know what I mean? It's not the hill yet.
Yeah. It's Canada's not very not where you live. It's not very flat where you live.
No.
But the middle bit, that looks brilliant. Like it's.
I'm so
flat.
surprised.
Like,
I've honestly never heard
it's
anybody
flat for like
say.
1,000 miles.
I've never heard anybody say they would move to Saskatoon. Like, never.
It's merely the lack of people.
Yeah, I know.
And the fact that lack of people is coupled with having apparently some of the best internet speeds in Canada.
Yeah, wow. I'm interested in that. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought Toronto and Vancouver would be the best for those.
They are. Where you live is comparable, but apparently, and that fucking place up north of the oil.
Prince George? No.
No.
God damn it! How? Fort something. A lot of people go to Fort McMurray, I think, to do that. Let's see. Let's look it up.
I want to say Calgary. Is that a city?
Oh, you're right. Calgary. Yes, it's Calgary. Sorry, you said on top of you. Like, Calgary's not on top of me. It's in the province to the east of me.
No. But I said north. It's in the north. It's north of you.
Okay, so north of me, is it a city or is it a province?
No, it's like north east of you, Calgary, I guess.
Yeah, I think
Where is
so.
Calgary? What
Calgary's
what
in
province
Alberta.
is Calgary?
It's in Alberta.
There. I didn't even.
Yes. Yeah, so Calgary does have a very heavy...
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to live there.
No. But it looks nice.
No. Apart from the oil.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of the oil industry, and I get the feeling once the oil industry collapses, it's probably going to be pretty fucked there.
I don't know.
As far as I can tell, there's no real reason for humans to live that far north in Canada apart from the oil.
Yeah.
So they probably wouldn't.
Nope, that's why they send people there and you have to live in camps and stuff and do that kind of work. They don't have actual residences for many, many miles around those areas.
But no, Saskatchewan. I'm all about that. It looks good. It looks flat. I like how flat it looks.
All right. Well, I guess that's your thing. I'll remember that.
And there's no chance of it flooding. I mean, it's nowhere near any bodies of water at all.
Nope. It's right in the middle of the goddamn country. So.
and Saskatoon's not even near the US border. Not really.
Saskatoon.
It's sort of in the middle and up kind of thing. I don't fucking know.
Saskatoon is a 4 hour and 22 minute drive from the border. I mean, yeah, that's farther relative to 95% of the Canadian population living within 15 miles of the border or something like that.
I was going to say, you're like 20 minutes away from the border, aren't you?
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's very close. This is definitely farther away. So yeah, that would probably be ideal for you. I mean, it's even farther away than Winnipeg, but Winnipeg's garbage. You'd want to fucking live there.
No, I don't want to.
That's a hell province.
I do not hear anything good about that place at all, ever.
It's fucking gross. I remember I had to go there for training for work, and
but where you live's meant to have the scenery. BC's meant to be the scenic part of Canada.
Yeah, it's beautiful here. Yeah, you're not going to beat our mountains. You're not going to beat...
I was going to say, just walking down your street, you've got that big fuck-off mountain range right in front of you.
Yeah,
it's like,
awesome.
we don't have we have nothing like that here. Like, nothing. I think that mountain that you can see walking down your street is like 3 times higher than the highest peak in the UK. And that's one of the little mountains in Canada.
Yeah, and then like when you look towards the States, you see Mount Baker, which is in Washington. Huge mountain. So when I'm walking to work, I see that. But you had fun there. Had fun where? Sometimes
Where did you have fun?
I don't know. That's what Gavin.
I mean, really, you've had fun everywhere in Canada, because everywhere you've been, that you've had fun because it was in Canada, because that's where you live.
I'm just fun incarnate, so wherever I go, there's fun to be had, and there's fun happening.
No, what I mean is most of the places you have had fun will have been somewhere in Canada.
Oh yeah, of course, duh.
Yeah. because that's where you live.
But you had fun there. I don't understand. Oh, well, I don't need to address that, I guess. I was just confused about what it meant. Well, my friend, I think I'm like done. I need to go eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I need to. I don't know what I need to do. I just need to sit here and watch YouTube videos or Twitch or something.
Maybe we'll have to touch base again in another couple of weeks and see how crazy things have gotten. But as we get closer to the election, because it's October the 2nd.
Yeah. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
It's gonna be the well, the thing is, this whole thing with Trump and COVID has kind of put a massive question mark over the whole thing, hasn't it? Like, what's going to happen? Like, worst case scenario, what if the cunt drops dead?
Holy shit, eh? That'll be wild. I wonder who they'll pick for the Republican nominee. Would it be Pence? Would Pence just automatically get the nomination?
Actually, let's not. I mean, he probably won't die. But what if he's incapacitated in some way? Like, so like, I know we're going. Yeah, sure. Boris Johnson got the COVID, and he was isolating for like over a week, and over that week he was getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and he ended up in fucking hospital. What's to say that kind of progression can? And Boris Johnson's a younger man than Donald Trump is.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
I mean,
as the story develops over the weeks, we'll see.
I think Johnson was out of commission for like 5 or 6 weeks, and 5 or 6 weeks is when the election is. How could Donald Trump run for an election if he hasn't been able to campaign?
Dude, there's all this crazy mail-in ballot shit and all that kind of stuff too. Like, this year is just wonked. There's going to be some voting stations that are open that people can go to that are social distance and blah, blah, blah. But I think there's a big issue with this mailing ballot bullshit too. It's just very interesting. It's a bit of a gong show. We'll see. This whole. Well, we'll see how Trump like progresses in the next few weeks, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
I suppose we should say that we hope he's all right. We hope he just fucking doesn't get any symptoms. Apparently, he has got symptoms though, so
they're mild. Apparently.
But that's how diseases work, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they start mild.
You start off with mild symptoms and they get worse.
But I didn't when I woke up. I didn't start with mild symptoms. I woke up not being able to breathe, but I guess it was developing over the few weeks because I was feeling tired. So never mind. Never mind.
I was going to say that's the point of mild symptoms. Though you probably wouldn't. The only reason they would have been noted in Trump is that now he's got like 1 billion doctors looking at him. Yeah,
it's wild, man. 2020 just keeps getting 2020er.
It does. 2020 never stops.
Nope.
It's the year that never stops being the year it is. So.
We got a few more months until it's not 2020 anymore. I can't believe.
And then it's going to be 2021. And 2021 probably isn't going to stop being 2020 either, just to be a bastard.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, my friend, thanks for hanging out. We'll talk soon.